Hello, I've just been having such an interesting conversation with some friends in Russia, and there's something which hasn't come out in the Western media at all, and that's the stadium event which occurred last week, where Putin addressed his nation, rallied for the Crimea, and of course, don't make any don't be mistaken in thinking that the majority of Russia opposes the war. The majority of Russia, at least all those who haven't fled, if you happen to be Chechen, you flee. If you happen to be opposed to the war, you flee. The majority of those who are left behind either support the war or just simply want to play dumb. It's too dangerous to oppose Mr. Putin. But the stadium event, the majority of people who were there were paid. They were paid to be there, just as they were paid to attend the various election rallies. So many of these people are people who are receiving state benefits, or the equivalent, and they're informed by the local police that they are expected to attend at this particular rally, and they do. The other thing I think which is interesting is the rally cry was for the Crimea, for the fatherland, for the president, and that would be za, and za would be written normally with the Cyrillic Z and then A, which would be looks like a 3. But in fact, it was being written with the Western Z. This use of the Z, I find it extraordinary. The 3 letters are being used by the invading troops in Ukraine. There's the Z for people invading the Donbass area. There's the V for people coming in from Belarus. And there's the O for people coming in from the south. But increasingly, the people in Belarus are actually using the Z image, partly because they want to hide the fact that there are Belarusians among that crowd. And I just find it extraordinary that Putin is branding Ukraine a neo-Nazi when it's Putin's people who are using a letter from the word Nazi, who are using Western script to define themselves. What is it? Is it Z for Nazi? Or is it Z for Zorro? Or what is it Z for? Nobody has successfully explained where this Z comes from. I don't suppose it's Z for Z cars. And meanwhile, the other thought that struck me today is how much like Lex Luthor Mr. Putin is increasingly appearing. What we need is a Superman, and we need far less Lex Luthor in Cuban heels, pumping himself full of Botox, and we need far more of Mr. Zelensky. We need the moral heart, and we need leadership. Because in the end, however this war is resolved, it has done the world significant harm. It has rearmed the world. Look at the rearming of Germany. Look at the fact that even Japan is thinking about hosting nuclear weapons on its own territory. In fact, the German budget at the moment seems to be greater than the Chinese budget for defense. This is frightening. At a time when we should have been scaling back arms, at a time when terrorism is on the rise, when we can't necessarily control where these weapons are going to land, we are increasing defense budgets. We are increasing our weaponry around the world. This is the immediate consequence of Mr. Putin's actions. And then also the destruction of Ukraine and the destruction of his own country. It's a great, great shame. In the first few decades of this new century.